Hi everyone, welcome back to another scrapbook layout video and thanks for joining me again today. So today I'm working on Allison Davis's 6x6 sketch number 12, and it has, if you know the sketch, it's got a lot of 6x6s, but they're on an angle. And I was actually looking forward to doing this sketch. I kind of knew that I wanted to use playful pictures. I feel like this is a sketch that would work best with playful pictures, something fun and boyish. So I still have this You Rock collection from Coco Vanilla that I bought a long time ago. I will give you a link. Again, if you want to purchase this collection, I am not sure if Michelle can get this collection anymore or not, but she is your go-to person if you're going to be able to. So I will leave her link below. If you can't find anything on her website, I suggest bringing or contacting her, send her a message, email, message on Facebook, anything will work. So, but she will do her best to be able to get this collection for you. So I'm cutting down all the papers to just 6x6. I'm not using 6x6 paper pads again. I just wanted to use, again, I knew this collection would be fun and perfect for this layout. And I have these pictures that I found to go with it, and they were, I'll talk about those more in a minute, but it ends up working out really well. So I just counted the number of main 6x6 pieces that were on the sketch, and then the little pieces here and there, which you will see me add glue to later, where I just kind of use the scraps from what I cut off from these. So the first thing I'm going to do is get my paper, my 2 pages lined up together, and I'm going to use a tiny bit of washi tape to glue them down. And then I'm going to set these up how I want them to be. I want to set them up before I start gluing so that I can make sure that none of the same patterns. So you can see I'm using some more kind of tone on tones and just solid color ones, and then more busier papers. And so I wanted to make sure when I glued these down that those, like the stars weren't next to the triangles very much, or that blue wasn't next to that other blue, and so on and so forth. So I'm just playing around with it, and you can see that there's going to be little spots that aren't covered up, and those are the spots I mean when I was referring to using the scraps that I have to cut off the edges, because you can also tell that there's going to be a lot of scraps. So again, I'm playing around. I do have that one gray one that's kind of a standalone, which I'm going to bring that around. And then I have that other kind of grungy one, which I really wanted to use. So I was trying to figure out a good place where it wouldn't be covered up, and also a good place where most of it would be cut off, because I don't want, just the plain box. I am going to start out here. I just grabbed my Perfect Layers 12-inch ruler. There is a link to those below there. We are memory keepers now. But when I first started, I did use the ruler to kind of start lining things up, but you will see that doesn't last very long. Another thing I want to mention is I did take my distress tool, and I didn't show it in the video, but I can leave a link below to that distress tool. But the edges, and you can maybe see it in the still shot photo, it basically, I distressed all of the edges. I thought it would just give another, I haven't done that in a really long time, and I thought it would just give another kind of fun playfulness to this layout. And then I inked them. It made a big mess, but that's okay. So here you can see I just gave up on the ruler because I distressed the edges. These boxes really aren't super straight as it is, and I'm okay with that. So I'm just going to glue them down as best as I can, and some of them are a little off, but once the entire layout's done, you're not going to really notice. Nobody's really going to notice much because of the distressing to them. So you can just see that I'm gluing them all down right now, and really I'm going to use this sketch again because I love the angle of all these, and I think it would be fun to try it with different things. So you can see that I made sure that that darker blue was complete opposite sides of each other, as well as that kind of darker yellow. This is one, oh, here's that little edge distressor tool that I had mentioned. Mine came from Close to My Heart, but there are many companies that make those. So this was just an extra square because I cut down a 6x6 piece. you know, so then I had extra. Oh, and here, I'll leave a little link to this vacuum thing as well. That really helped with all, that's the first time I've used it, but I got it off of Amazon. And because I was distressing the edges, there was little pieces of all those edges around. And so that thing came in really handy. You get it's a little bit of a learning curve to use it because we had it backwards. And so it was blowing everything everywhere instead of sucking it up. But here's where I'm just going to trim them off. All I did was flip over the 2 pages because they were all glued down together. So I flipped it over and I am trimming down the edges. First, I used an X-Acto knife to get along the main middle part. If you do it from the underneath side, it's a little easier to get it straighter than if you try to just guess where the 2 meet from the top side. And I'm just going to end up trimming the rest of these off. So you can see I'm going to have plenty of scraps, and I won't throw those away. I will do something else with them. You know, I probably even could do another layout with these. You know, I need a few more 6x6s, but the thing about this collection, I'm not really worried about using up papers because this is the very first Cocoa Vanilla collection I got. And I ordered 2 collection packs because I knew I really loved this paper. And I didn't realize that their collection packs came with 2 sheets of paper. So that was a lesson learned. But like I said, I'm okay with that because this is great paper and I will use it as long as I can use it. So I do have plenty of paper. I am not worried about wasting any of this paper. And I'm actually kind of glad to get it used up since, you know, like I mentioned, I've had it for so long. Now you can see all the little pieces where I might not have got any ATG glue underneath them. I'm just taking my Nuvo glue, and I've gotten a few questions about this glue. Yes, I love this glue. It's become my favorite. I used to use the Tombow, but the Tombow was always very sticky on my fingers, and so now I'm using this Nuvo glue, and I really like that. That and the little Lawn Fawn tube, and there are links to both of these below because I like the Lawn Fawn because it's really, really good for tiny little areas. And I love this glue for just tiny areas as well and big areas. So, one thing I didn't do here was I didn't really let the glue dry long enough. It doesn't take long for this glue to dry, but I went to cut it off just a little bit too soon. And so one of the pieces is going to come up a little bit. So you're going to see I'm going to have to fix that, but it's not that big of a deal. You can see when I kind of peeled it there. I think it just didn't have enough glue setting time. So again, I brought that gray. Oh, and then I lost a piece here. You can see when I cut it down, I looked all over for this little piece, but I couldn't find it anywhere. So I just took the other gray that I had and continued it on. It's in the middle of the layout. I don't know where that piece went at all. I still don't even know where it is, but I did want to add more of that gray around. And then I realized I only used, oh, I didn't use the triangle piece, and I was kind of bummed that I didn't use the triangle piece, but I realized not long after that it's because I used that piece, the arrows on the other side instead of the triangles. So you can see here, now what I'm looking for, I've got my background done. I love the way that looks. Now what I'm looking for is paper to mount it on. And I'm sorry my computer is on the side. I actually joined a Zoom meeting with some friends, and that's been kind of nice. Been trying to join a few Zoom meetings because this mommy is getting tired of being home alone. So yeah, but anyways, these are photos. The one thing I think I mentioned it in the beginning that I didn't pay attention to was that these were not the right. So she's got 3x5 photos. I had to cut mine to 3x4 because mine were horizontal and not vertical. So I couldn't get them the full 5 inches, but it works out. Like I said, it's just fine. I alter sketches all the time, and so don't be afraid to do whatever works for you with sketches. But I did want to mount them because I knew the background was so busy, but I didn't really want to do just white. So I found this one striped paper with the grays, and I'm kind of remeasuring here because where the paper is, you can see at the bottom, there's like going to be a gray stripe and of the photos, and at the top is going to be somewhat of a white-ish stripe. And it's not that noticeable on the layout once everything's done, but I did want to kind of, it's going to span both pages, so I wanted to continue that. I didn't want the stripes to meet weird in the center. But like I said, if you did it doesn't matter anyway because there's not much there to be seen. And I'm using my 12-inch perfect layer ruler here just because I had pulled it down to use for to do the lining up of the papers. Excuse me. Getting a little lost. So, okay, so if I sound like I don't know what I'm talking about, I've had to take Benadryl a lot lately because I got stung by a bee and man, it itches. And I guess I should have thought about that before I started these voiceovers, but I am like, yeah, this Benadryl makes me tired. But let me tell you, if I don't take it, then my foot itches like crazy. I've tried a bunch of the home remedies, so, you know, thanks for anybody who has a home remedy, but don't worry about it. It's been over a week now, so it's getting better. It's just me because I can't leave it alone. So it's my fault. But that's why I'm a little slower with these voiceovers because the Benadryl definitely makes it harder for me to think straight. Anyways, I did end up trimming off just a little bit more. I don't remember the reason why. I just kind of didn't want it to show up as much. So then I have those two strips. So I'm going to line up my double pages again. And I'm going to glue the two strips down. Now these are photos of my youngest son when he was little. Let me tell you, you guys, and I tell him so he knows, he was the biggest brat I've ever seen in my life. He made it very clear to us that he was our last kid. After him, I was like, no way. No, I mean, I was getting old enough, didn't need more kids anyway. But holy smokes, guys, he decided when he was going to be born. He was a brat. He threw pencils at my daughter's teacher during her conference one time. I used to tell everybody that he is going to be the one kid of ours that gets sent to the principal's office. And I tell him this all the time. And the reason I tell him is because he hit 2 years old and he became the nicest, sweetest kid. Instead of the terrible twos, it was total opposite of him for him. And I have no idea why, when, or how he changed. But boy, oh boy, he was a brat. I have a ton of baby pictures where he is doing and being naughty. And I remind him every time I take out the scrapbooks, I'm like, look at you. You were such a brat. And we kind of laugh about it. So these are him, of course, going down a slide. And do you think he could even go down a slide the regular way? Oh no, he had to go head first every time, which, you know, as a mom freaks you out. At least for me it did. So I really like these photos. These are not all the same day, so I'm not going to stamp my date like I normally do, but these are all from, he was about less than a year old or a year old-ish. I want to say he wasn't a full year old, but I don't know. It could have been around that time. Luckily, my daughter was there to help with the catching and the helping him down the slide. So again, that's why I really wanted to use this paper collection, is because of these fun photos, the movements and stuff. And it was actually fun. You should, if your kids like to go on slides, you know, get down at the end of the slide, especially the tunnel ones, and take a photo up into the slide. It kind of makes for a different perspective, makes it a little bit fun. So I pulled out a bunch of different black letter stickers, and I did make my own A. I'm not sure if you saw, I didn't have an A, but I really liked these letter stickers because they were black with kind of like a white faux stitching outline to them. And again, just trying to use up my letter stickers, so that worked out really well. Then I have this cut apart sheet, and I decided to cut apart a bunch of these. At first I was looking at that word adventure. I was thinking, you know, everything with him is an adventure. And you can see that letter A. It looks really funky. I don't care. It's on there. It's glued down, and you can read what it says. So I really also liked that's my boy, because like I said, that's just how he was. And I kind of liked that word whoa, but unfortunately, I'm not going to get it on the layout. I was really starting to play around quite a bit with these paper cut aparts from this one cut apart sheet. Like I mentioned, I had 2 of each design, literally front and back. So I decided to, but then I realized I needed to pull out some of my ephemera pieces. Also on her sketch, she has her journaling up here on the right-hand side and a couple photos. So I didn't have as many photos, so I just put 2 photos down below on the left-hand side. And then I cut this piece. This was like a 3x4 cut apart from the cut aparts you saw me trimming out. And I was originally going to do my journaling there. But this is the area that I really struggled with. So one thing I did have, since this is an older collection, those rubber pieces. I'm not crazy about those anymore, but I'm sure you guys know what I'm talking about. They were pretty popular for a while, but but I got them on there because I definitely want to get them used up because I have them. I've ordered them. I bought them. So the other thing I was super excited about is I've mentioned in quite a few videos, I don't know if it's just my area. People have told me to use clear nail polish. To be honest with you, it's too late for me to use the clear nail polish. Apparently, if you have metal flare badges or flares, then you can use clear nail polish to paint on it and they won't rust. But mine, it was too late. So I either threw all mine away or gave them all away. However, with these ones, I know I pulled these out and I was like, oh man, should I use these? They're not rusted yet. I was kind of not sure if I should just give them away, but I looked at the back of them and these are actually plastic. So that probably explains why they are not rusted. So yay to Cocoa Vanilla for making, flare badges that aren't going to rust. I don't know if other companies are now. I just don't buy flare badges anymore. I used to be crazy about them, but I don't know. I was crazy about them for a while. Now I'm just okay with them. They're not something that I'm going to run out and purchase anymore. I think I kind of probably killed it off with all the, rusting and stuff. I had to, before 2Ps closed, 2Ps in a bucket, if you guys remember that website, I bought a bunch of flare because they were closing. So I bought a bunch and I had to throw it all away. So, like I said, I'm just not into the flare, but I'm super happy that I have these and I got 2 of them on this layout. Playing around a little bit here, these are washi tape strips. Now, I wish companies would do this more often. Now, these are washi tape strips that I will use, I will buy. I'm not going to buy the giant rolls of washi tape. You guys know me. I'm not a fan of washi tape, and I don't like the giant 12 million mile rolls that I'm not going to be able to use. So, but these sheets, there's 2 of these sheets, and I'm definitely going to use these. So I wish that Simple Stories did something similar to this for a while, but they stopped too and went back to the rolls, and I don't know why, but I just don't buy it. It's fine. Saves me money, right? Anyways, gluing everything down, I pulled out that washi tape strip and I did cut that orange one in half so it would be thinner. I do like, if it is washi tape, I do like the thinner types of washi tape. And then I tore the ends to make it look like it was holding on to that piece of journaling, like that journaling box. I wasn't sure about it at first because it kind of seems like it's floating there, but I'm happy with it in the end when that area gets filled in, and I kind of kept that in mind, and that's why I was okay leaving it there. And then you might have seen I took that other side of that orange stripe strip and added it to one of the photos on the very left hand side to kind of bring that stripe strip over. So I'm just adding a bunch of different little things. These are the chipboard. I forgot I had the chipboard, so I decided to go ahead and play with some stars. I have stars all over the place on this layout, so I'm not afraid to add more. I'm just adding a few more. I do have some word stickers that I'm going to use. Oh, there was this 1 in a million. I can't remember if I get that on the layout. I don't think I do, but I kind of wanted to put that on there because, like I said, he was just different. So I'm going to play around. I am going to put some word stickers in 3 different spots on the layout. I end up putting them straight on the right hand side around that cluster, and then they're straight underneath the title here. But then when it comes to the left hand side, because that one photo is kind of crooked, they do go on a little bit crooked. And I just wasn't sure how crazy I was about that, but to be honest, I left it there. I wanted the word stickers. I loved the sayings, and I'm okay that they're crooked. I'm going to play here. You can see I didn't want to cover up that much of that photo, but I am going to ink the edges of each one as well and glue them down. So here is a close-up. Oh, I also used some of their enamel dots that came with the collection. And another couple close-ups, and then you can see I actually put the year on that journaling box and did some journaling next to it instead. So that is my layout. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Thanks for sticking in there with me. Bye.